your motorsport and motoring radio show. Now on 88.5 FM, The Valley Comes Alive. And podcasting across iTunes and talkandpower.com.au.
This is the Talk and Power podcast, episode 219. I'm joined with I'm Nitro Championship, by the way, and I'm joined by my co-host, Simon Gonzo Travellini over here.
You are, Nick.
I am. And Michelle Morrison over there. How are we?
I've got some sad news, actually,
Okay.
Nick. If you're listening to this on the radio, it'd be about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago, if you're listening to it on the podcast. An old friend of mine and friend of yours too, Michael Pisani, affectionately known as Captain Cooker or Meth Mike. Sadly passed away about halfway between Bunbury and Bremer Bay. He was involved in a head-on accident, died at the scene.
I didn't know this, Simon. Yeah.
You know, look, there was a lot of accidents that weekend, a lot of fatalities, and they made a big deal about how the road toll is worse than it has been in, I don't know, the last 20 years or something. But it sort of glanced over that actual accident. The driver of the other car has, as far as I know, and I could be wrong about this, has admitted full liability. Michael had his 2.5-year-old son in the car. Thankfully, the son was airlifted to Perth and is in a stable condition, as far as I know, and should make a full recovery. So I don't have any details on the funeral, but because Michael became a bit of a recluse over the last couple of years, a lot of people, wouldn't know about this. So if anyone listening to this, he was a big part of the drag racing community. He was, the Perth street car community. Had a number of cars over the years, the blown VK and the Turbo VN. Spread the word, let people know, because even today I was ringing some people up and they hadn't heard. Yeah, no, I didn't know. No. Our condolences to his entire family. That's really very sad news. Mike was a great guy, actually, and it was quite a character. And that's quite sad and to hear of his passing. Hey, we'll get stuck into the latest news here. Oh, you don't want to know what Michelle's been up to? Oh, we'll get to that after the news.
That's not important, is it?
We'll get to that after the news. Let's get stuck into the news. Hey, NASCAR from Dover overnight. Danny Hamlin take out the win there, secured his 4th Cup victory for the year. It went overtime, this race, by 7 laps, and Chase Briscoe coming in 2nd and Alex Bauman coming in 3rd. Top 5 were Kyle Larson and Ty Gibbs. Chase Elliott started from pole and led 238 laps. Went overtime with some late cautions, and Denny Hamlin triumphed after the late caution. Our man SVG was the last classified finisher in 30th spot. He had a slow puncher on lap 11 at Dover. Unfortunately, when you go a couple of laps down, there is no coming back. Speaking of our man Shane Van Gisbergen, he has hit a real big purple patch at Sonoma the week before. He absolutely dominated this race, led 97 of the 110 laps, and taking out the win there for Trackhouse Racing. Number 2 was Chase Briscoe, and number 3, Chase Elliott. 4th was Michael McDowell, 5th was Christopher Bell, but he showed him a real clean set of heels. And the 2 weeks before that, Shane Van Gisbergen also took the weekend sweep, winning the Xfinity race at Chicago, and then also the sprint race, Cup race on the Sunday in Chicago. And that victory was third. It's Van Gisbergen's 3rd in the NASCAR Cup Series, and it has really solidified his state. He is now the most successful foreign-born driver in NASCAR's top tier. So congratulations to him. In all the years I've known you, I never thought I'd hear you congratulate. Yeah, I know. We're never big fans, but he's doing New Zealand proud. Even though we're Aussies, we kind of treat him as our own, don't we? MotoGP from the Czech Republic, Marc Marquez showed him a clean set of heels. This was actually, I watched this last night. Wasn't the greatest race. Really wasn't much. Not anyone else could do. Marco Bezzecchi in 2nd place, and Pedro Acosta in 3rd, and Franco Bagnaia in the 4th position. Interesting race, the sprint race on the Saturday night. tyre pressure problems from both of the leading Ducatis saw them have to drop behind a position, rebuild the tyre pressure on their front tyres.
Oh, yeah.
And then try and take the lead again. Marc Marquez was able to do it, but Franco Bagnaia wasn't able to do it. Ended up being a faulty sensor on both bikes.
Really?
Yeah.
And one of the transformers went out on Marc Marquez, didn't it?
Yeah.
And it actually stumbled the commentary. They were saying, "What's going on? Something's happened."
That was last
hang on a
night,
second.
actually. Yeah, he dropped to third, and the commentators went crazy. But they're looking on the screen saying, "Hang on, no, still leading." So yeah, some tech problems there.
So, because they thought his tyre pressure was low, he had to get heat into the tyre.
Yeah, so
But
there's a rule. There's a rule that you can't. You've got to have the tyre pressure at a certain. You can't run too many laps with the tyre pressure down. So these guys were trying to get the pressure back up again, but it was actually the sensor that was faulty.
Wow.
So yeah. In Formula One from Silverstone, Lando Norris in the McLaren claimed his first British Grand Prix victory, leading the race after a 10-second penalty was imposed on Oscar Piastri for a safety car infringement. Oscar Piastri initially led the race but finished second after the penalty. Despite the setback, he showed an impressive pace throughout the event. Nico Hülkenberg, what a great story, coming his first ever podium. And it was his 239th race. So he did a magnificent job.
Not quite a chip off the old block.
No. And Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari in fourth, and Max Verstappen started from pole but dropped to fifth after a spin and struggled with tyre management and challenging conditions. And that's the latest in the news.
Now, what's this about? You're going...
No, I read this too, and I thought, hang on a second. I think that's more for you.
Me? I'm not going to New South Wales.
No, yes, sorry, yes. So give us, yes, you're right. Yeah. So Michelle gives us a rundown on her trip, and then you give us a rundown on the funny thing.
Oh.
So if you're wondering what we're going on about, Nick's put down in here, give us a rundown on preparations for the big August trip to New South Wales, Michelle. How is the FC progressing?
Yeah,
and
that
I'm
is
thinking,
really silly.
FC, the only FC, funny car? I'm like, what else could FC mean?
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not going funny car. What kind of rumours are circulating now?
Well, so are you going to New
I'm
South...
not going funny car, but
Oh,
yes, I
you
am.
are going to New South Wales.
Yes.
Simon, you can at least pretend like you listen to our episodes, particularly the ones that you miss out on for being unwell. We need those listener views and everything, Simon. Everyone counts.
We've got plenty of listeners. Don't need my ears.
But yes. Well, like you would have all heard on the last episode, but to update
Except for
you, Simon, the August trip is happening for the Nitro Funny Car and Top Alcohol Championship finale and the Top Sportsman Aeroflow Showdown.
Oh, this is the... So is this... I think we spoke about this.
Yeah, we have,
They
yeah.
invited the top
8?
8 or 10 or 16,
I'm
12?
I'm trying to think of when...
I thought it was like 2 episodes. We've missed a couple of episodes
Maybe
as well. Cause
Jason
the invitation had just been
Lippy's going.
sent out. Maybe the invitation had just been sent out, but I hadn't confirmed whether I'd be.
But at the last
going at that
episode, you
point.
certainly confirmed you were going.
Last episode all confirmed, and the plans are all put in place and on the way. Our flights are booked. Mine is going to be driving one of Denani Hotshot's cars over to Sydney.
Oh, cool.
Which very doing to the car before heading over. And we're actually going to go over a week. Yeah, to get some track data. Previously I haven't run Sydney since 2015. I think it was recently resurfaced at that point because the transition at the finish line. I posted a photo on my Facebook that reminds me to wait a little bit.
Yeah, I saw that
past to
photo.
drop the
I saw
chute.
that.
Yeah, all 4 wheels off the ground.
Yeah, off the ground. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a cool photo.
Our shock travel data when we ran there in 2013, 2012 looked more like an off-road racing buggy shock travel data.
Like the braking area was so bumpy, and that photo really shows it. But actually, the last time I raced there as well, with the bumps through that braking area, and I must have just pulled my chute. You know, usually we're doing it as we cross the finish line, but it actually tucked in underneath the car, and my parachute then got caught in my brake caliper. I just managed to pull the car up in time before going into the sand, but then I'd only just pulled it up and like turned it, and then it came and to stop, and then you know, so my car's not even completely out the way. But then the nylon like parachute material then got locked in against the brake pad, and it glued, and it then hardened. We had to go get a blowtorch from the pits and then remelt it and chip it away, and then run to Rockets and get another brake pad. And so that was, I've learnt my lesson with that. But the car goes a little bit slower. I usually would run 0.2 slower in Sydney than I would do in Perth, and that's going from like May to like May time of year. So
that's crazy.
But of course now I'm running 0.2 slower than I was in Perth 10 years ago as well. So the car's a bit more consistent now, and it's just really hard to go off any sort of data of what I was running then. It's a bit hard. The NHRA originally said, the NDRC, I'm sorry, originally said like no qualifying, and that it's going to be like that, you know, bucket name out of a hat system for into the Chicago shootout rounds. So we thought, like, if we're making the trip to then go into round one with no data, we want to be able to go over for the weekend before just to get some numbers. And so I
think a lot of people towing from WA are going to do exactly that, going on the week before.
Yeah.
So they're trying to do a street in-laws. So they're trying to, or drag in-laws. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, you know, my car's insanely consistent here in Perth, and I hope the same for over in Sydney. But like, if it was going into in Perth, I'd still be able to go into round one without any qualifying confidently. But to make sure that we have that, you know, just rest assured and everything, getting some data beforehand, and then Trent can work his magic on his number crunching. But so that's all going really well. We've booked our flights, booked our accommodation. The girls are coming across. My father-in-law Trev and Ethan are coming as well, and so it'll be really great. I'm so excited just to be able to represent and have that recognition for top 8. So it's amazing.
It's pretty cool.
Aside from that, what else has been happening for me? Big happy birthday to Cleo. She turned 5 weekend before last. And so, we had a little disco party for her. And,
nice.
You know, it's been school holidays, so it's been all happening.
But yes,
very cool. Very cool.
Holidays.
Yeah, active.
Funny car?
We accidentally started it tonight.
What do you mean accidentally?
So
it's in the notes. We better do something.
No, I didn't even know that.
He says, "How's it progressing?" Better make sure.
No, Justin came over to give us a hand, and we got the oil pressure up, and we got a remote. It's onboard starter, but we got a remote starter on it. And
I hope you accidentally remembered to put fuel in.
No, it's got no fuel in it. So I said to him, let's lube the blower just to be on the safe side. And I was checking the timing to make sure we had the timing in the right spot. And he's cranking it over, and it started. We're looking at each other going, it's got no fuel in it. But it must have been the aerosol in the blower lube can.
Oh, yeah.
It's it literally started and ran. We're looking at each other going, what? Anyway, so I got a race car. I got no track, but I got a race car.
Well, what can you tell us about the new track relay at the Perth Motorplex? This is the WA government has granted funding to replace the entire drag strip at the Perth Motorplex, considered to be reaching the end of its usable lifespan. Stage 1 is already in progress, with design and tender documentation awarded to Paredes Group. The rebuild will feature a continuous concrete surface across full racing distance. Construction is scheduled through 2026. Detailed scheduling and calendar impacts for the 25-26 season will be announced soon. We hope to have Gavin on when he's back.
Yep.
And I'm sure Gavin can give us a bit of a... Gavin Migro, that is, by the way.
Yeah.
Some more details. But look, I mean, long overdue.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, oh, why does a track need to be relayed for? It's only new. I said, yeah, it was new 25 years ago. 25 years ago.
And look, I think, we had that small patch done before last season, which obviously then caused us a bit of a delay for the Powerpalooza event for the drag races. But I see nothing but good things with this. And as much as I think, there could have been a quick fix to maybe get us through to start season in October, I personally think that for us West Australian drag racers, there's been a lot of things happening behind the scenes, and it's a bit hard not to get too caught up with like Chinese whispers that goes around. But between a lot of contributing factors, I feel as if the security for the longevity of our sport, this is the best thing. I feel as if we haven't had any defining security of the future of our racetrack since the Milosevic family ended their lease in 2015. There's been a lot of unknowns.
Was it 2015?
2015.
It was 10 years ago.
Yeah. And so, between a few of the things with the governing body and then some things with our WA state government, being that it's a government-owned track, leaseholders and what was going on there. I think just the security that the government has then given with this funding. Our track lasted us 25 years, so to be completely redoing the entire drag strip, it's some short-term pain for long-term gain, and I'm really excited to be able to really promote our sport now and promote our broader reach. Because it shows that the investment's going into it to be here for good.
Yeah, and you can sell that to not just sponsors, but you sell that to
absolutely. And I think now, for people that are approaching sponsors or already have, we know that, yes, this season's going to be impacted, but we also know that what is then to come is going to be a lot bigger, secure, and I wouldn't have any doubts in trying to bring a sponsor in for a 3-year deal or something. Yeah. If we knew that this patch in the track was being worked at, the patch that was put in before last season, it didn't seem to last, and just the unknowns that would circulating with the rumours, and it's hard. It is hard not to get too caught up with things like that. But I feel really confident to be able to promote the sport now and the future of the sport. And so, it's nothing but good feedback from me. And look, the comments on social media and everything, they seem to be really positive as well. Yeah. I think it's just well needed. Yeah. And I'm excited.
Yeah. And it gives the three of us the opportunity to tee up some street outlaw type events on some local airstrips.
In my X trail, unless you're going to make them suitable for the altered, I'll have to jump in as a passenger.
Well, I mean, it just comes down to whether you want to win or not.
It is good news, but
eco mode off.
Yeah, eco mode off. I found it didn't make much difference, the eco mode.
Mine lags so much. I only turn it on when I'm low on fuel, trying to make it to the next fuel station.
Anyway. All right, well, that's great news, as I said. And for those that are listening, or to the great unwashed as well, or people that might not be aware, when they probably don't understand the urgency or why it's important for a new track as well, and the expense, new surface.
Yeah. New track would be good too.
Yeah,
and I think
north of the river.
Yeah, it would be nice. Balcata.
There were some people saying wouldn't have this be better to have been done in the off season, rather than halfway through the year? And we've got to keep in mind, WA owned track. The work needed to be done now. It wasn't safe enough for the cars to be running down it, and when we're working for government budgets, you know, the money's been given now, let's use it while we have it.
Yeah.
You know, because if we say we don't need it, we're going to do this quick fix to get us for this one, whether it's going to be then made available to us at a later date is just the unknown. So
Also, they're going to need to do a majority of the work when we're in the drier months.
Yeah.
You can't,
But this Paredes group as well, they had large involvement with Sydney, Darwin, as well as Tailem Bend. So they know what they're doing. You know, they're not.
They look young, but have you seen their management team?
No.
They're young.
Okay.
Oh, when I say young, I mean like
you
very
being
young.
ageist.
Well,
No, I'm just saying they're young.
I wanted to
They're
say
sounds
that.
like you're being
than-
ageist.
They're younger than me.
What's
that's
wrong
for
with young
sure.
people, Nick? How young are we talking?
This was on the ABC News.
I wanted to mention that because one of a comment that was left in response to the Motorplex announcement was like about their time schedule. And look, I think we need to all be realistic in there's always unknowns that allow things to then run over schedule. But someone had referenced to how long Willowbank's resurfacing had taken.
Yeah.
And without going into too much of the detail with that, there was a few like different contractors that had to get pulled in for that one. But
you know how
knowing
that happened.
Yeah,
They started with the wall, and then they put the excess concrete, you know, which is a grano worker thing where you dump it on a piece of plastic and you put a bit of Rio bar in there to get rid of it later. They dumped it on the track, and that caused a dip in the track.
Well,
and then it just...
Sorry, say that again. What happened?
So, you know, that's a common thing to do. The excess concrete, you just dump it on a piece of plastic and you put a bit of bar in it to lift it off so you can cart it off later on, you know. And when they did because they had a weird wall set up, and that's how Peter Samet had that horrific accident, because the wall would taper off like that, but then there'd be a piece of wall like coming at you. So they redid it up to the latest specs, but the leftover concrete got put on the track, and it created a dip in the track.
Well, I mean, it's nothing.
God.
It's nothing official, but I had heard that like when they grind it,
And then they ground it
but
to
then
fix...
the sensor reader of how deep, then that
I don't know,
didn't
it
work,
just-
and they didn't know how far they'd actually ground it down.
turned into a disaster.
Yeah.
It
So,
would turn into
But what would possess them to put it on the track?
because that's easy to access. You just drive your Manitou or whatever up, and
On the dirt on the side?
maybe they couldn't do it because the machine was, you know, that did the concrete. I don't know.
Typical Manitou.
but
Wouldn't happen with a Bobcat.
that's not who is going to be responsible for Perth's resurfacing, and so
No, well, our walls are fine. It's just the track surface.
but
okay.
Anyway.
they've got the experience under their belt, and so we just have to trust the process there and know that we're going to get a 400 metre all concrete.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Actually, I
Awesome
think
news.
it goes a little bit past 400, doesn't it? 450 all
Is it
concrete.
450?
Yeah.
Righto.
Which will save that transition being right at the,
Yeah.
you know, our braking area is pretty smooth as it is, but
Yeah.
it will save any
Yeah, our braking
transition
area
bump
is-
right there.
It's very good.
We'll just have to make note and put our suggestions in, because you know what, I had a chat recently with Liz Johns, and she was telling me about some troubles that they had at Tailem Bend recently for the NHRA Championship finals, with Rick's wheelie bar hitting that transition spot that we've spoken about right at the start.
You know, where the expansion joint
Oh,
is?
yeah, with the expansion
and when
joint,
she started
yeah.
saying that, I was like, we've spoken about
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
saying
we have.
how much of a strange spot it is to be
Rick
there.
was at the shop the other day telling me about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so on a like a standard wheelbase Camaro, that is... All right, well, moving on from the Motorplex and its relay, IHRA held its first round of the Outlaw Nitro Series last weekend at
Sounds
National
familiar.
Trail Raceway. Look,
Was it sponsored by Aeroflot? Anyway,
I saw some of the video highlights. To be frank, what I saw wasn't great.
yeah, but Michelle was telling us that what she saw was better.
Yeah, it's,
So-
Yeah, I definitely had commentary and with text and titles to accompany the footage.
yeah. The crowd looked terrible. How can they pay the
Nick's
prize
on this
money
big
out?
IHRA downer.
I mean, we
But-
also got to keep in mind though they actually had really bad weather and had to like cancel some of the rounds and delay the start for it. They had a huge downpour of rain, and they actually. You know, just to top on innovation, they used a helicopter to dry the track.
That is awesome. See, why can't we do stuff like that?
We were just like, no way. When I first saw the video, I was thinking, like, what's going on here? Thinking, like, because Trent showed it to me, and I'm like, thinking someone has to be airlifted, like something's gone on. And I'm like, they're
brilliant.
drying the track? Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
That's brilliant.
Just land the helicopter, like.
Fair
down
enough.
and
Look, I
pull
mean,
them up.
if
Land of the brave and the free.
yeah. Anyway, look, in Top Fuel, Scotty Palmer had a win with a 3.958 at 314 mile an hour to beat Krista Baldwin's 4.125 second time at 293 mile an hour.
How
Yes.
awesome is it, number one, to see Scott Palmer win,
Yeah.
and number two, to see Krista Baldwin in a
Yeah,
final?
go rounds and get
Yeah,
into the
absolutely.
final. Yeah. Yeah, it was a long time coming for Scotty Palmer. His last IHRA Top Fuel win was in Michigan in 2008. So good on him for making the trip and
Good to
getting
see
that
he's
done.
racing again after that
Yeah.
horrific accident in the
Yeah.
Nitro Stu. No, it was called Studzilla.
Yeah,
Studzilla.
yeah.
But he's been running a bit of pro mod as well, has he?
Well, I haven't heard much from him since the accident, to be honest.
Yeah, I had to do a bit of digging, and I hadn't either. And then his post race interview, he was like, "Oh, I've been out of the car, hadn't raced for 8 weeks," and I was like, "Hang on a second, 8 weeks? Like, what have you been running?" But yeah, I think he'd been doing some pro mod as well.
Yeah, yeah. In funny car, Mike McIntyre was number one qualifier and continued to set the pace throughout the weekend in funny car. McIntyre got the 0-2 advantage on the starting tree against Dal Warsham. Ran a 4.166 at 293 mile an hour to win the final on Sunday against Dal Warsham's 4.160 at 305 mile an hour.
Once again, great to see Del Warsham back out
Yeah,
there.
it was actually. It was good to see Del going rounds as well. In Pro Mod, Frankie the Madman Taylor had plenty of reason to be happy at the end of Pro Mod eliminations. He beat Mike Di Domenico, who shut his Corvette off at the tower, leaving Taylor to make a winning solo run of 3.726 seconds at 199 mile an hour. And in Pro Stock, how long has Larry Morgan been racing for?
A long time.
Long time. I met Larry Morgan in 2003. Larry Morgan picked up the win in Pro Stock final against Derek Reese, who was 2/10 too quick at the start. That's a lot.
That's big red,
isn't it? Both cars were shaking their tyres hard despite Reese's foul. Morgan's Chevy Camaro went ahead and made a run down the track. So they are back again this weekend at Milan Dragway in Michigan.
It's funny hearing you say Morgan and Chevy Camaro.
That's strange as well. Like he was
Chrysler.
etched on Chrysler man. So yeah, it is funny. We would talk to IHRA. I'm going to switch over to NHRA now. I'll hand it over to Michelle and Simon.
Thank you, Nick. So the NHRA Northwest Nationals, presented by Muckleshoot Casino Resort, was held at Pacific Raceway, had its fair share of drama across all the categories.
It's been a month-long break since the last NHRA round, and it seems some teams have been working hard and others have been hardly working.
The event was marred by the tragic crash of Sean Reid during Saturday's qualifying session. The tyre exploded on Reid's car, sending him careering across the track in front of Doug Coletta and into the wall at over 290 mile per hour. That's over 464 kilometres an hour.
Reid suffered 2 broken ribs and injuries to his left hand, resulting in a loss of his left pointer finger. Reid is currently in good spirits and thanked the Safety Safari, fans and the NHRA. He said that although he doesn't have a target return date, he will be back on track as soon as possible.
In qualifying, Doug Coletta took the top spot in Top Fuel, while Austin Prock was again number 1 in Funny Car. But in Pro Stock, it was an unexpected Dallas Glenn and an even more unexpected John Hall taking the top spot in Pro Stock Bike.
This is John's second time at the top of the ladder, riding the Matt Smith Racing Buell. But unfortunately for John, a first-round red light saw his day cut short.
It was an all Vance and Hines final with Richard Gadsden facing off against teammate Gage Herrera. No prizes for guessing who won, with Gage running a 6.69 with a 0.10 reaction time to not only take down his teammate, but set the quickest pass of the day.
In Pro Stock, 00 Dallas Glenn took the win over Jeg Coughlin Jr. Jeggy's going red in the final, both cars shaking violently immediately after the launch and both abandoning their runs.
A big turnaround for the elite team, having 3 of the 4 semi-finalists and an unexpected first-round loss to Greg Anderson, losing on a whole shot to teammate and ex-Pro Stock motorcycle rider Corey Reid. In
Top Fuel, Sean Langdon faced off against a resurgent Brittany Force. Langdon got the whole shot and never looked back, running a 366 to Brittany's 404 after she lost traction near half track and clicked it off early. And you were mentioning that Brittany ran a track record and possibly a new NHRA speed record.
Yeah, track record she set in qualifying, but then confirmed it with a national record in the first round of eliminations against Doug Coletta. She ran a 341.85 mile per hour pass with a 3.659 seconds. And I actually thought it was quite interesting on the NHRA Insider podcast with Brian Lowndes.
Yes.
He actually called that.
He did. I was listening to that.
Yeah,
He called that.
He was looking at the weather conditions and he said, like, this seems like it's going to be the perfect conditions. And you wouldn't be surprised if Brittany would set another 341 plus mile per hour.
I was listening to that today, and I knew it had already happened, and I looked at it 5 days ago.
Yeah.
I was like, called that well, Brian.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Yeah, it came out 5 days ago, but I only got a chance to listen to it today.
Yeah.
He did call that well.
But the upset of all upsets happened in the funny car category, with rookie Spencer Hyde taking out a tyre-smoking Austin Prock in the first round of racing. Prock had the start line advantage, but started losing traction by the 330-foot mark.
Jack Beckman also going out in the first round to Matt Hagan in similar fashion. And we all know when all the John Force racing cars are out in the first round, it's anyone's race.
But it was the 2 next favourites in the funny car field that made it through to the rounds to face off against each other, Matt Hagan and Ron Capps. Matt took the start line advantage, but it was a close race with a 3.90 to a 3.91, about 2.5 metres at the finish line.
This is Matt Hagan's first Wally for the season. Next race will be at Sonoma, where NASCAR race just was.
Yeah, it was just a couple of weeks ago.
The Denso Sonoma Nationals, presented by Power Edge, Friday the 25th of July through to Sunday the 27th at Sonoma Raceway, California.
Sonoma, known for its wine.
It's Napa region, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I've been there. I've been there myself.
And what is the wine like?
Part of the Western Swing. Well, when you go, you're not actually like there for the wine. I didn't make a stop for the wine. But there usually is a few races that then a few drivers that go out to some of the vineyards and have some
Do a bit of cross promotion.
Yeah,
like little
So it's cool to see them outside of their
social
natural
media,
habitat and.
drinking some Chardonnays.
Some Chardonnay.
But it's
More of a
beautiful.
Shiraz man myself.
It's
Actually,
a beautiful place.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. More of a Pinot. I find myself very attracted to the Pinot grape. I think the Pinot grape's a lot like me. It's very delicate. It likes to be grown near the coast.
I think, well, when I was there, I was like only freshly 21.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
so I
so
wasn't
yeah,
ready
that's
to
barely the
expand on
drinking.
my wine.
Hey, while we're talking NHRA news, we should probably mention former UFC champion Randy Couture has seriously injured during a practice session at the Flying H drag strip in Missouri. The 62-year-old sustained first and second degree burns and smoke inhalation when he crashed his 37 Chev Pro Mod, aptly named Al Capone. He was airlifted to a burn centre, but is expected to recover. So we wish him a speedy recovery to Randy Couture. Hey, just some news in NASCAR as well. A couple of weeks ago, NASCAR, I haven't had a chance to talk about it, but NASCAR unveiled their new EV prototype. I find it interesting that they released their EV prototype when they have no ambitions of going EV, or are they? I don't know. Why would you spend all that money in building an EV prototype and not want to go down that path? But anyway.
What do you do, like, with the pit stop, right? What do
Yeah.
you charge the battery?
I don't know what on earth you
Yeah,
would
like-
do. Change your tyres, that's
'Cause that
about
would
it.
take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
like, I mean, you
charge.
pull the battery
I'd
pack
just
out.
put a whole new battery in. Yeah, you're better off doing a battery swap rather than a charge up. That's
Do,
Don't
do you reckon they run on the C's or the D's?
Well, it's got to be the big poppers, the D.
Don't you reckon it looks like Lightning McQueen?
It actually,
It looks like Lightning McQueen.
I was trying to work out what it was because it looks
It's
ugly.
It's nondescript. It's not meant to be anything.
It's AI.
It's
ABB
nondescript.
makes Transformers.
Yeah. But the car's nondescript. That's the. Anyway, that's the look they're looking for.
It is
but-
ugly.
Yeah, it is ugly. It's very ugly, but most electric cars are.
You know what? On the way here, I don't know if you guys noticed this driving it at night. A lot of the cars now have this line.
oh, it's yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm in a Tron movie now.
Yeah.
I think the Kias. have
Yeah,
that
yeah. And I think the
Yeah.
Hyundai. I think one of the
Yeah.
Hyundais does too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hyundai van's got it as well. The Staria. That's even
it's-
worse. It's like right across the front.
What was the other movie with the Lambo, or the TV series?
The Lambo.
Yeah, it had the Lambo that was computer generated. No, you don't remember
I
that
don't
one?
remember that one.
Oh,
I thought
think of it.
I thought you were thinking the Wraith. Remember the Wraith?
no, Tron.
Yeah.
Because Tron had the the highlights.
Yes. Yeah.
But there was a TV show with this detective, and they'd created this holographic offsider or whatever,
Okay.
and it was a Lambo. And no, guys
No.
can't remember. I'm gonna Google this while.
You Google that. Well, I'm going to talk about the Chicago street race. That looks like it's in doubt. Some councillors, Brian Hopkins and Bill Conway, the 34th, and other city officials are questioning whether the trouble of closing streets and shifting Chicago city traditions is worth it now after the 3-year contract is up. The city race course runs the loop from Michigan Avenue to DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 4th of July is a very family-orientated weekend, and we want families to be able to use the park on the 4th of July, Conway told NBC Chicago. Not only do we have to make sure that we're making this as convenient as possible for the constituents, but also make sure the city is recouping its cost of putting on the race. I thought someone would be buying into this. And NASCAR has brought Chicago business, tourists and spectacle unique to sports culture, Hopkins said in a statement. They've also brought noise disruption and road closures, some of which will continue from this year's event
Sounds
for
like
many
Birswood.
days to come.
This is exactly why you need to move on government's decisions when you have someone in position that supports motorsport.
But
What
is this Chicago? Is this a Chicago thing? Because we race at many other cities as well. Is it a Chicago thing?
I think it's the preference of who's in power.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's Chicago. It's a bit of this. Automan's the name of that show.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember that now. Automan, that's right.
Yes, in Chicago, you need to make donations.
Anyway, it's
if
interesting.
only we had the video.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So
It's,
this is just more. This is just him saying you need to go a bit higher with your donations.
Donations required.
Anyway.
They could get this across in Western Australia. It's not a problem.
This won't be a problem.
It's not a
That's
problem.
not a bad idea. Bring the two events together. Bring NASCAR and the supercar race together. One on Saturday, one on the Sunday.
I don't think that you should ever put a NASCAR on the same track as a V8 supercar.
No, not together. Not racing together.
No. But they should not be on the same track because the NASCARs are going to be incredibly slow.
Yeah.
And the Americans would never want that.
It would be like our discussion about the Nitro up north with the V8s.
Yeah.
And saying how, you know, to have the top fuelers firing up in the pits, it would draw the crowd away
Oh,
from the
my
V8s.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right.
If they actually put some glue down on the track, people would be impressed by the top fuelers too.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Couple of weeks.
We'll see.
Speaking of bringing NASCAR and supercars together, you like that segue? Kyle Larson's supercar ride looks like it's fallen through. Although he had plans to race at this year's Adelaide 500 as a wildcard entry with Premier Racing, Larson has officially pulled out of that event. His management cited the recent challenges from attempting the Indy Charlotte double and required the 3-week commitment in Australia as reasons for the withdrawal. So that's not going to be happening anymore.
It could also
okay.
be that, you know, Van Gisbergen's over there kicking their butt and Larson probably come last.
So the Indy Charlotte double, that disrupts, that's running at the same time, is it?
Yeah, well, no, that's really...
Nowhere near it.
We should probably talk about that. But no, the point that they're making there is that he raced at Indy this year and he did the Charlotte race as well. And I thought that was probably a little bit irresponsible because he crashed quite heavily at Indy and then got in the chopper and then took off and raced at the Coke 600 at Charlotte.
Is he trying to be a Tony Stewart?
I think we're talking, our dialogue in ball sports is so centred on concussion at the moment. Yet this guy got out of a crashed wreck at Indy and got straight into a NASCAR.
Speaking of which, did you see the Dockers won the grand final on the weekend?
They did well. I'm not a Dockers supporter, but I think they did well.
I thought, mate, how can you not be a Dockers supporter? Look at
No,
the
I'm not
coach
Dockers
is a
supporter.
legend.
Yeah,
He's a West Perth
boy.
legend.
He's a West Perth boy. But yeah, no, they did well. They played well with the Dockers. I think they played really well.
I think it was last weekend. There was a post-match interview with Andy Brayshaw,
Yes,
and he was
and he was
like dripping
bleeding.
in blood. I was like, "Let the man go. He's going to clean
I
up."
know
He was
Kath
like-
Lachlan probably didn't handle that. I know she did say
She
a
said
couple
at
of
the
times,
end, like, "Oh, I better
you're
let you
right,
go,"
yeah, you're
you
right to
know.
go. Maybe you should let you go.
But I was like,
he was
"Whoa, what
bleeding
happened?"
profusely.
Yeah, he was. Now, what do you think about the Eagles' $20 million signing deal?
with Harley Reid.
Yeah.
No, I don't start me on the Eagles right now.
No, just because does it not bring back memories of when the Dockers had was it Modra?
Yeah, could have been.
You know what I mean? Like they had this one player that their whole budget went to.
Yes.
and they couldn't win a game to save their life.
Well, look, Harley Reid's a great player.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great player.
No argument.
But not worth this sort of money that they're talking about. And he really needs to mature as well. There's a lot of maturity that needs to
They're
happen.
saying that he is mature and, he puts in the top effort and he does this and he does that. But, when you've got a salary cap, you have to bear in mind that you've got to make the best use of it.
Yeah.
And, honestly, we've seen all the clubs, well, not all the clubs, we've seen some clubs, cheat over the years, probably not get penalised enough. But I've got to tell you, I'm really, really impressed with what the Dockers have done. It's just been incredible. And because their coach, to me, is someone that I really thought was great during the West Perth days, for me, it's a buzz to watch it.
Yeah.
You know,
most certainly.
it's because, you know, how many times in Western Australia we've had successful football teams, but we've always had these import coaches, import players, import.
Oh, Woosha wasn't an import.
Yeah, no. Woosha, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd take. Yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, Docker's going really well, and it's great to see JL kicking butt.
Yeah.
And the Eagles, well, I made a post on their social media site the other day, and I mean, it's got to start from the top. And when I say the top, have you looked at the board members of the West Coast Eagles?
No, they're not very fit.
There's only two sports.
Do they need to go to the gym?
There's only two sports-orientated people in that board. The rest are from mining and from universities. I don't see how that works. I really don't.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
JL's in there, so Justin Langer. So he's a worthy board member, I feel. And Rowan Jones as well. Played a bit of footy. It wasn't too bad. And, you know, there's good business acumen.
But isn't the board meant to make the money? You know,
The board is responsible for securing and hiring a CEO and the management team. And the CEO, Don Pike, needs to go.
Yeah.
Sooner rather than later.
You know, because I look at Collingwood, and as much as I dislike the team, what Eddie Maguire did financially for that team is incredible. Yeah. Absolutely incredible. They could lose all their members and still make more money than all the other teams put together. Just...
But Elizabeth Gaines, with all due respect, is very high up at FMG. Very high up at FMG. And is obviously very good at mining and resources. But I can't see how she sits in the chair at the West Coast Eagles.
Yeah.
Don't get it. Anyway, that's...
I guess it's pay to play, Nick.
It's
pay to
this
play.
This is not a football podcast.
I don't know enough about football, I'm sorry.
Neither do I. I just make it up. But I just thought it was great.
What decisions would they have to make?
I despise Collingwood, and to watch...
Hello, Johnny. Johnny would be listening.
Well, he knows. To watch the Dockers win in such a close game, and it was a good game. I mean,
It was awesome
no one could
game.
walk away from that game saying, you know, oh, that was crap. You know, it was a good game.
It was.
It
was.
Just great.
Hey,
Anyway.
Simon, the Holden transmission class action went up a gear this week. The latest news from the Holden transmission class action was that the respondent, GM ANZ, made an application to strike out parts of all of applicant's statement of claim, which means they raised complaints about the claims and have asked the court to remove some of all of the case, strike it out. The court heard the respondent's strikeout application at the case management hearing on the 27th of June. On the 11th of July, the federal court delivered judgment in relation to the strikeout application. The applicant was successful on all points, and the court dismissed the respondent's strikeout application. So GM ANZ has been ordered to pay the applicant's cost in relation to the strikeout application and must now file a defence by the 8th of August. It's an excellent result for the group that are holding the class action. The next case management hearing is scheduled for 9:30am on the 4th of September.
So, for those of you that don't know what this is about, it is pertaining to Commodores and Colorados. In particular, with the Commodores, with the six-cylinder, the V6 Commodores, the 6L50, 6L45 transmission, the torque converter leaking. The leak is from the pump drive or impeller hub, as we refer to it. And what General Motors did, there are two types of impeller hubs. There's a butt mount and a flange mount. They decided to go with a butt mount design, which is common in OE-style torque converters. And where they welded it to the impeller, which is the torque converter pump part of the torque converter, they then machine the weld, and the corner of that has created what we refer to as a stress riser, and it's cracking around there.
Yeah, right.
So our fix for that is we had them CNC machined out of 4340, which is chromoly, and we had a flange design made, so we cut that section out, welded in, they don't leak anymore after that. And the 6L50 and 6L45 in the Colorado, they have a bad shutter issue. It is common for people to change these converters out every depending on how many Ks they do, but I know of people that are changing them every 6 months. Now, some people argue that it's the friction material that they used on the torque converter clutch, because modern cars that have lock-up torque converters have a clutch inside, a hydraulically actuated clutch inside the torque converter. Some people argue that it's the material that they use. Some people argue that it is the strategy that is being used to create a semi-slip, like not quite locked up, and that glazes the plate over. And these torque converters, this is the way the industry's going. This is the same with the Ford 10R80, which is also in the Mazda BT50 and also in the Volkswagen Amarok, I believe. They are not rebuildable torque converters. The Colorado is not or some model Colorados are, but most of them are not rebuildable. They're basically a throwaway unit, and that's fine. I mean, they don't want companies like mine rebuilding these. That's not an issue. I don't see a problem with that. We are always busy with the aftermarket stuff anyway, the high performance stuff. The problem is, though, people have got to realise that when you buy cars like this, when they stop making that torque converter, particularly if you need to change it over that frequently and it fails that frequently, then that vehicle...
Yeah, and that's sad.
Well, it is sad. In the 70s, it was law in Australia that every major component of the vehicle not only had to be serviceable, but the company had to stock the parts to service it. And that changed in the... in the 60s it was like that. It changed in the early 70s, and the first thing that we saw was the sealed fuel pumps. So if you remember the old fuel pumps, your Falcon engine may even have the old style with the glass.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
So that's a rebuildable. You could back in the day buy a seal kit for that and pull that completely apart, put a new seal kit in it, put it back together, and away you go. And then they went to the sealed units, and that was the same with more and more components on the car. And the torque converter has become like that now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's interesting news there. Hey, I just thought I'd touch on this as well. Monday Meets incident at Birswood. I actually called in on 882 6PR the other day when this occurred. So this happened last Monday night. Poor young girl was run down by a car that was speeding, allegedly. Let's say that, allegedly speeding at this Monday Meets event. And I just thought I'd add some commentary here. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on car clubs that hold events. And I think moving forward, I think Roger Cook hinted at the fact that the police will be clamping down on these kind of events. I think the simple fix to these sorts of things, one of the fixes is to create a sense of ownership and belonging in these clubs. A lot of these clubs or these organisations, and I'm not suggesting Monday Meets is like that. I don't know how their hierarchy works, but they put them out on Facebook, these events, and basically people just rock up there and they can carry on whatever way they want to carry on. I think if you create a membership base, a paid membership base, have a proper constitution, rules and regulations, you create a sense of ownership for the members as well, and we might not see incidents like this happen.
Did you catch what happened in Melbourne?
I saw that.
Street?
Yeah, Chapel Street. Yeah.
So they interviewed those guys that organised that event, and they were quite proud of it. And I've got to say, I saw the video of what happened in Birswood, and it, as a dad, I felt so much sort of sorrow for the girl, the family. It was completely just devastating and tragic to see. And a statement put out by her dad suggests, that she's suffered life-changing injuries.
Yeah.
It was stupid for that guy to be going that fast. But unfortunately, if you've got cars travelling up a roadway, the potential for this sort of stuff to happen is there. Now, I want to ask you, as someone that lived through, the Balcatta and Scarborough and all of that, comparing that to someone doing a burnout, right? What do you think is more dangerous? The guy doing the burnout at Scarborough in the car park, or the guy doing allegedly doing 95 kilometres an hour in a 40 zone?
The guy doing 95 in the 40 zones.
Okay, so do you think that there is anyone, a single person in the whole state government or the whole West Australian police force that would be able to make common sense decisions on what it is important to crack down on and what it isn't, or are they just going to group everything together?
They're going to group everything together.
Yeah, and that's the sad thing, because all it's going to do is make people resent the police.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's going to be people getting stickers on their cars that it's going to have life-changing effects on them. If you're going to university, that's your only form of transport, and now it's off the road, that could have devastating impacts on.
And then on top of that, like realistically, if it does get really clamped down on these kinds of events, they'll end up happening underground.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
Well, these are
and
kind of
they'll
underground.
be-
Look, I think these events are kind of underground as they are. Look, with our events, we have the police come to our events. They have something to eat. They check out some of the cars, have a laugh, and then they're off. They're on their way. You know what I mean? But that's the kind of relationship that we have. But I can see moving forward, we're going to have to work even harder now as a community.
I think there is, you know, we have the worst road safety at the moment record in the history of Western Australia.
It's terrible.
Right? And I believe, number one, getting rid of the road safety branch, which was done under Carl O'Callaghan, was a big mistake, because you need to start at school. You need to start educating people at school about what the potential hazards are. Number two, now, this is something that happened to my wife, right? The amount of people driving on the road now that have no licences, that have fake international licences or fake overseas licences, and the police just do not care. They will not investigate it. You know, like, these things look so ridiculously fake. Countries that I've never even heard of, right? But you go to the police and say, hey, look, this is the guy's licence. Clearly this is fake. They don't want to know about it.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. That happened to me as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that Commodore I used to have for when I was working in the previous job. That got sideswiped. The young lady, she was from, I don't know which country she was from, but her licence was handwritten.
Yeah.
Handwritten. I took a photo of it. I took it into, I won't say the police station, but I took it into a police station, a reputable one that we know of in the northern suburbs.
Yep. No, and that...
And you know who paid for that? The repairs to that car? We did.
Yeah, so same with my wife. My wife had to cop the excess, the whole lot. They refused to answer their phone. They blocked her calls.
Yep.
Police did nothing about it. Fix that, Roger Cook. Don't worry about this rubbish. Fix that, and this stuff will fix itself.
Yeah,
I
agree.
The road toll will go down, because you need to clamp down on these people that have no licences. And you know what's going to happen if they don't fix it is young people, criminals, they'll take advantage of it. They will pretend to be from another country. They will have fake driver's licences, and no one will do anything about it. It will get worse and worse and worse, and they will go and target the wrong thing, and eventually, you know, they'll end up getting out of government because of it, because people will get sick of the police harassment on the wrong people. Now, part of the reason they don't want to do this is because they don't want to get labelled as being racist or anything like that, but there is right and wrong, and like, it used to be that you couldn't be in Perth for more than 3 months or something without getting a West Australian driving licence.
That's right, yeah. No, that's right. Yep.
So if you get someone that's got a foreign driver's licence, you need to flag it immediately, and then you need to have some sort of legislation in place that says that they need to front at the police station and show when they arrived in Perth. And if it was more than 3 months ago, that's it. Give them a fine for not having a driver's licence. Flag that car, put it on the registry of vehicles of interest, VOIs, and make sure that wherever that vehicle is, the person gets pulled over and they check their licence. And if they don't have a WA licence, fine them again. after they've been fined 3 times, put them in jail.
Yeah.
You've got to get them off the road.
Agreed. The other thing as well that needs to change as well is kids going for their licences. They only need to rack up 50 hours at the moment. That is nowhere near enough. 50 hours probably sounds like a lot.
Well, it's an increase from when I did my licence. It was only 25, and I know that now they do have like weather conditions and like hourly.
Yeah, it's not enough.
There's like weather conditions and hourly, like daytime, nighttime, and even I think like a period of when it could be done in. For when I was getting my licence, it was you could go back in the week and hand it back in.
Yeah.
But you know, it really just.
50 hours is nowhere near enough. Sorry.
Yeah, it you know, for me, I had experience driving, so it's hard for me to comment. But I know that plenty of people that have gotten their license and still been terrible and nervous as hell driving, you know, and you want to be a confident driver when you then have the responsibility of doing that.
My son got to about 60 hours and then went for his license, and there was so many. I was relieved that he failed the first time because at 60 hours, I still didn't think he was ready. Then he went for it again, and he failed again. And I was like, still relieved because I still didn't think he was ready. He got it on the third time. He was going for a manual license as well.
Yeah.
But I felt by the third time he was kind of right. But by that stage, he'd probably done 75 hours. But I still think that's probably on the low side. It's got to be 100.
Do you know what I think's a really good idea and way of doing things? And I'm not sure of how it's been updated since, but because I've got relatives that are in South Australia, they would have their lessons with an instructor that would be marked towards their license, and so they would like mark off their hours with an instructor, and they actually never did an official test. It was just when the instructor would then say, you're good
ready
now, you're ready. But, you know, they would mark off once our change of hours did come into that daytime, nighttime, wet weather, dry weather type thing, that's all after you sit your first driving assessment, you have to do that. Where how Adelaide would do it, and as I said, I'm not sure if any updated systems, but like all of that kind of hour recording in the different conditions would be done while they were a learner with an instructor. And I thought even just for that, you know, for how nervous you would be to then go for the test, and you know, I hope I don't get this person. Like I've heard they're real tough. But I thought that was a really good way to do things, because then it's also not just like a half an hour hot lap around. You know,
but
around
I
the
think
block as well.
If you're going to do that, then there needs to be some sort of onus that if the instructor says, that person is good to go, because, you know, I don't want to talk about it on air, but I've seen some things over the years, and, you know, I would imagine that there's some shonky people out there.
Yeah, right. You'd want to make sure that that's actually, being done correctly.
For sure.
Yeah, when we get off air, I'll tell you guys a couple of stories.
Oh, well, don't make the listeners feel like they're missing out.
Oh, well, you know, I don't want to end up in jail.
I think it would just be surprising to know, like, how many learner drivers are actually getting lessons by instructors, or whether they are just being taught by their parents.
Parents can't teach their children how to drive.
In our day, pretty much, if you showed up at licensing without an instructor, you weren't going to get your license. That's, you know, in the country, you know, I know that it was more lenient, but there was also the fact that out in the country, the guy at the licensing office was probably the local cop and probably knew your dad anyway.
Actually, my dad has a funny story about that, because he was like driving around, you know, driving tractors and driving, you know, I think he was delivering milk in one of the trucks and all of this. And then on his birthday, on his like 16th birthday, he was sitting at the police station before they opened up to go and get his license. And they said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And going to get my license, and they're like, how'd you get here? And he's like, But that was, that was in the 60s.
But yeah, no, parents, you can guide them, but I wouldn't be responsible for teaching your children. I sat many hours in the car, but I wasn't the right guy to teach him.
I think it's things that become so natural and relaxed. Like I failed my first test, and it was because I took my hand off the steering wheel. I didn't look in my mirrors enough, and that's me at 17, and I'd been driving around my property since I was 8, and so it's I wasn't just doing those things like the 2 and 10 and, to even just take my hand off the steering wheel and not be looking in my rearview mirror enough. I think I was like too relaxed because I didn't have those nerves of being like new behind a wheel as well.
Yeah.
But yes.
Most certainly. Hey, look, just quickly, we'll talk. I went to watch the Formula One, the movie, last night, and what a great movie it is. I won't give away any spoilers, but Brad Pitt, Lewis Hamilton's actually one of the producers of this movie.
All right.
Did a magnificent job. It depicts the scene reasonably accurate. What I guess is having him as a producer would do. They use actually the McLaren base as their headquarters for this fictitious team.
Yeah.
A number of the drivers and team principals are in the movie, acting as themselves or playing the part as themselves. Great movie. When you get a chance, go see it. Well, I went with my wife and kids, and we also went with another family and wives and kids. Everyone loved it. You'll love it. I guarantee you.
Yeah,
Doesn't
cool.
matter. It's a really enjoyable movie, quite accurate, and the action, heaps of action, they filmed it really well.
Come on, mate. You're not going to top that Richie Cunningham. That was the best F1 movie ever.
Oh, no, you're right. You're talking about Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Just
No, most certainly. There's been many examples of good Formula One movies and racing movies, and you're right. That's another one as well.
The only other good one that I can think of is Le Mans.
Yes,
which is also technically accurate.
Yeah.
Which is the Tom Cruise one? I've seen a
Days
lot of
of Thunder.
Screen grabs that were a lot of similarities between the Formula One movie and then
So
that one.
it's a good point. Days of Thunder was filmed in situ. So Days of Thunder, the original Days of Thunder, was filmed at the 1990 Daytona 500.
Yeah.
So if you watch that actual race, if you look at some of the cars, they are the actual camera cars.
Yeah, right.
In the movie. So they actually got real NASCAR drivers to participate in the Daytona 500. They were kind of like back markers, I guess you could say, and they didn't finish the race, but they weren't intending to finish the race. They just needed a heap of footage.
Yeah.
So they don't do that.
With NASCAR, you can't tell who's leading and who's last.
That's right. So this movie, I don't think they go to that level. I'm not sure how it was shot, but it's really realistic, and it's a great movie.
You say it's realistic, right?
Yeah.
How old's Tom Cruise?
No, Brad Pitt.
No, sorry, Brad Pitt.
Well, that's
Yeah.
part of the. That's part of the.
Yeah, because it's he's getting back into it,
he's
right?
getting back
like
into it,
he's
yeah.
not like a fresh rookie into it.
Yeah, because that has happened in form. No, it hasn't.
So Brad Pitt would be probably my age, maybe
Against
a year
his
older.
16-year-old oppositions.
I don't
So
think he's
51.
older than that.
No, he'd be close to my age. He wouldn't be much older. Than
No,
me.
I reckon I'm going to say 54.
Yeah, I reckon he's up there.
Let's see how that goes in
Brad
the Price
Pitt
is
age.
Right.
61.
Oh, no
God,
way.
he's nowhere near me.
Yeah,
I
you've
could
shown
be in the
us.
movie.
61.
Oh, there you go.
How many 61-year-olds
61? Wow, okay.
have gotten back into Formula One?
Yeah, it's a good point, Simon. But anyway, like I said, yes, there's little things like that. But go see it.
Little.
Bring Nicole, bring the kids. I love it. The sound.
No, I
it's,
don't think Nicole.
no, she will. I guarantee
How
you.
far
think my
down do we
kids will
say,
go.
like, Luna and Cleo?
Yeah, I think that'd be
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, it's quite action. There's lots of the
Yeah.
sound. There's lots of things happening. So do it. Do it.
Anyway.
I'm telling you, Nicole should be listening.
Yeah,
Go
we
see
want
it.
your Rotten Tomato scores for
Yeah.
next episode.
Super cheap ad.
It's coming out on Wednesday. I'm spewing because we're recording tonight. But
So Stretch listens to this.
it does Stretch Coleman.
Stretch
Has
listens
he given
to
you the lowdown?
No, we haven't been speaking about this. We've been speaking about his wagon,
Yeah.
right? My God, how fast that thing is now.
What's it run now?
He hasn't run a 7 yet.
Wow.
But if you look at the numbers...
It's going to.
But the thing is, it's making 1,650 horsepower
Wow.
now. Okay.
Wow.
I built the gearbox for 1,250 horsepower. And I've been begging him, send it back. Right? It's been years since I've looked at it. We need to upgrade it. And he's like, "No, Gons, it'll be fine." So Stretch, send me the gearbox.
Is that painted white now, or is that a vinyl wrap, the white?
I don't know.
Because it used to be yellow.
Yellow, yeah. It was the one that was in all the super cheap windows.
Yeah, but
That
it's
was
in,
the
the
actual
in
car.
last year's commercial, it was white.
I don't know. I'll have to ask
I don't
him.
know if it's a wrap or not, but anyway.
But it's going like, deep into the 1.2s to 60 foot. It's an XY wagon. A
Yeah,
wagon.
right.
Yeah,
It's like 4,000 pounds.
beautiful car. I love it. I love it.
1,600
Unbelievable.
horsepower. That's insane.
So we're looking forward to that. Can't wait for Wednesday for that. That's one of my favourite. We did a whole episode dedicated to that a couple of years ago.
Listed all the oils.
Yeah.
Yes.
Targa West, Thursday the 18th to Sunday the 21st of September. Don't miss out on that. A Motorplex calendar is out for the Speedway. Powerpalooza is the 18th of October. And I just thought I'd mention, because I loved it so much last year, High Limit International is locked in for the 28th and 30th of December. We should all go.
Yes.
Yeah.
We should all go, bring the families as well. That is a magnificent night.
But we'll have to get in early with our tickets.
Yes,
because
yeah,
I
the
think
30th
that they
will sell out.
It will
yeah.
sell out, yes.
Yeah. And Kyle Larson has confirmed he will be back for High Limit International,
Fabulous.
but not in a supercar, just in his sprint car.
Well,
All right, well, that's it.
priorities.
Thank you
Did
very
you
much.
guys cover the V8 supercars last episode?
No, there was Townsville. We can
Townsville,
cover
yeah,
it now
which
if you want. Yeah.
Brody top qualified and won the first heat, I believe.
No, he run the race on the Friday.
Friday,
On the
correct.
Friday,
Friday or
right?
Thursday?
Yeah, no, it was Friday.
Friday.
The race was on Friday.
Yeah.
Then Brock Feeney doubled up Saturday and Sunday.
Yes.
So did a magnificent job. But yeah, it was good to see actually Brody and the Shell DJR cars going reasonably okay.
Do you think that, Brody's a very hands-on guy,
Yeah.
and he's very involved in the setup and so on. Do you think when you see Brody, or any team for that matter, like dominate qualifying, dominate the first race, and then the other teams suddenly have a tune-up, do you think that they're using a 7-point jig the way HRT used to cheat back in the day?
Oh, look, I don't know if they're using a 7-point jig, but I certainly think the 888 cars were nowhere on the Friday. They were way, way off the pace.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Saturday and Sunday they win.
Yeah, and it always seems to be these teams that have got big money behind them,
Yeah.
like Tom Walkinshaw Racing back in the day.
Yeah.
And it was illegal back then. I don't know if it's illegal now, but it was illegal then, and they were clearly cheating, to the best of my knowledge, because there were photos circulating of a Commodore at Tom Walkinshaw Racing, that was used on the 7-point jig. But it is weird how they can be so far out
Yeah.
and then bang, just like
Brock
that.
was on it. Yeah, the next 2 days. Don't know. Couldn't tell you, but yeah, it was interesting. It was an interesting race, to be honest.
Just makes it hard for, the other teams.
It does. Yep. Already, but with the new championship format as well, it's shaking things up. So, like, we're going into this finals,
The countdown.
the
or
countdown or whatever they're calling it.
What do
is
they call it in NASCAR?
In NASCAR, it is the countdown. They call it the countdown in NASCAR as well, I think.
Do they?
Yeah.
I thought they used some football term. The playoffs.
The playoffs,
playoffs.
sorry, yeah, they call it the
Playoffs.
playoffs, yeah.
The playoffs.
The NHRA is the
NHRA is
countdown.
the
countdown,
Sorry,
yeah. So in
playoff.
Australia, we should call it the top eight. Is that
Yeah,
Top eight.
top
There you
eight?
go.
So
The final.
The
we call-
Supercar Showdown.
so whoever has the most points before the countdown or whatever they're going to
Yeah.
call it, we call them the minor premiers in Australia.
no, I don't know what they're going to call. No, they'll be the sprint champions. Sorry, they're the sprint
Sprint
champions.
premiers.
Then there will
Jeez, now we're
be
morphing into
so
Speedway.
it'll end. So it'll
I
be
like the way Speedway. Do they still do pole shuffle and all of that? Because that was actually really
yeah.
cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
they do that.
entertaining. Yeah.
I know. Oh, it's awesome.
yeah. So in the supercars, they'll have a sprint championship. Then they'll have an enduro championship.
Oh.
Then after that, we go into the part of that will make up the finals as well.
Oh, geez, it's like into
Wow.
Yeah,
That's like
it's kind of
baseball,
complicated.
They also are they going to have a
World Series, like you know, with the baseball
what do they call it? The Western
district.
Western Conference.
Conference. That's
Western
it.
Conference
Are they
and the
going
Eastern
to have the
Conference.
sprint, the enduro, the conference?
That's NBA, isn't it?
NBA.
And NFL as well. They have the Eastern Conference and Western
Well,
Conference.
don't we? Do we
That's
have it over
the-
here for the drag racing now? Don't we?
I,
The
mean,
we do.
I was the WA divisional champion fan.
There you
Joe.
go.
There we go.
She won the Western Conference Championship.
Yep.
Number one.
Number one.
But that's the baseball do the American, and then they will do the Midwest. But then they come together for then the World Series.
The World Series.
And I'm getting so confused. Like,
But
but then the World Series is just America.
But with that, they play like, is it 5 games or something? The
Oh.
same 2 teams play like 5 games?
Yeah.
Something like that,
They'll
eh?
play like 2 games a day and things like
Yeah.
that. For
And
the
NBA is
doubleheaders
the same
and
as
stuff.
well.
It's
In the
crazy.
finals, once you get into the finals, like it's a best of 7
Yeah,
scenario.
yeah.
And
That's for the World
NBA.
Series, yeah.
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast where they had, it's a gambling podcast, and they had one of the NBA, I don't know what they call them, it's like the soccer, what do they call the soccer guys, the managers?
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yep.
the NBA. And the guy was really funny, really, really funny. And he basically said, look, if you want to win an NBA championship, you just got to get the guy who can, score and pay him enough money that he's on your team, and just put him on the court and tell everyone to pass to him. And because they just have one guy standing there who does 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Stephen Curry. That's why Golden State Warriors were so successful for so many years, because he was the king of 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Not so good anymore. He's lost his focus.
Who's winning in the NBA now?
Who won it this year was I can't remember now. My sons will kill me. They love it, but I can't remember. It's either the Oklahoma won it, or I think Oklahoma won it. First time ever.
Yeah.
But they had won it previously when they were another city.
Yes.
But it doesn't
Oh,
count. Yeah.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. OKC.
When are we going to see that happening in Australia?
Well, I was just going to say, because you're a big fan of the Wildcats,
Yes.
aren't you? And so, with Bryce Cotton leaving.
Well, it still hasn't
Yeah.
been
Wildcats-
replaced.
Yeah,
They
and
haven't- they
they're talking
haven't
like
replaced him
big
yet.
money for his replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I met with the AFL, and then I just realised, well, the Western Bulldogs, that happened too in Brisbane.
And Sydney as well.
And so what was Sydney before?
Sydney was South Melbourne.
South Melbourne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
moved
the
up to
Bulldogs-
Sydney.
Bulldogs was Fitzroy, hey?
Fitzroy.
Yeah.
Bulldogs were Footscray.
Oh,
Footscray,
Footscray.
sorry. Footscray.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a-
Fitzroy
I know it was a-
amalgamated with Brisbane, became Brisbane Lions.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have seen it happen, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just not a billionaire doing it.
No. Well, it kind
Imagine-
of was. Sydney was...
Oh, Eccleston,
yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah. Not Eccleston. Bernie...
No, sorry, not Eccleston. Bernie.
I can't remember his name now, but a rich millionaire from Sydney.
Yeah, because he used to get, what's the name of the Pantera?
Yeah.
With the tight shorts.
Yeah,
Eric.
that's right.
Warwick Kappa. Warwick Kappa. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, what was his name?
Edelstein.
Yeah,
Edelstein.
something like that.
Yeah, anyway.
So do you think we'll see, like, Collingwood move to,
Never.
say, Darwin?
No.
Oh, well,
That's never going to happen. That's never
So on the subject of footy, what do you think about the stadium? Tasmania.
Look, so
I
tell
haven't seen
me,
anything.
it's still a hung parliament, is that right?
Yeah, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed, did it?
No, I think...
So it's unlikely that the stadium will go ahead then.
No. No, both Liberal and Labor both went to the election, and they're both saying now that this is proof that the people here want it.
Okay, all right.
Right? I don't know that they really do, but their argument is, see, the Greens didn't get in, and they were the ones campaigning not for the stadium. My understanding is the stadium is going to cost $1 billion.
Yeah,
I feel like I should say it like $1 billion.
1 billion. But like, how many matches are they actually playing in Tasmania? Like they go
At
down
the
there a little
moment-
bit, right?
At the moment, there's probably only 6 or 7 games a year there.
And so where they're playing at the moment, you know, is that on par with like Leederville Oval, like,
No,
or is it more
better
like
than that.
Fremantle down?
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
You know,
it's better than
it's kind of
Leederville.
like, couldn't you just run it a little bit before you make the investment?
No, they want a roof over it because the weather's
Yeah,
not,
but
weather
like
in
if they
Tasmania
say,
is
"What
not-
do you want?"
Yeah.
and then if they say, "Okay, what is wise for the first?"
It's in the Arctic Circle, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
It's cold down there and it's wet. Even when it's a dry night, it's still wet.
yeah. Look, if you're going to be building a stadium, build it like that. But like,
But the thing is, you know, the population versus the investment.
is their population going to be able to fill the stadium, or are they relying on interstaters?
Well,
I
they're
just-
relying
I-
on
you know,
a
the
bit
thing
of both, really.
The AFL is a very profitable business.
Yeah.
Right? It has very lucrative TV contracts. It has big sponsors, right? I don't understand why the punter in Tasmania, the average Joe Blow that's probably struggling a bit anyway, has to fork out cash when the AFL doesn't.
Yeah, that's
You know what I mean?
never going to happen. I mean, they own Etihad or whatever, Colonial, whatever. Sorry, Marvel Stadium, as it is, and now they own Waverley as well. They bought back Waverley, but I can't see them. That they divest. They don't make those sort of investments. The AFL.
I'm just
It's
want to
hard,
see
isn't it? So Trent and I were having this discussion just on the weekend because, you know, he's into his baseball, and we were talking about. He was saying about how much one of the players is getting paid in his contract and everything like that. And so in the American baseball, they don't have the price caps, the salary caps, and so for the Yankees, their combined salary of their players for the year was like 400,000 million.
Oh my god!
And then Miami's was like 86.
Yeah, okay.
And they get to like whatever their stadiums make, then they keep. And you know, for the places that are just like people that aren't even baseball fans still would go to a game at Dodger Stadium in LA or for the Yankees game in New York. And we went to a game that was in Miami, and it is a incredible stadium, and there was barely anyone there.
Really?
It was dead, and it was just sad to be such an amazing stadium and just have no crowd. And then it's hard because like if they did have those salary caps, then you could see more of an even game. Yeah. But I suppose the thing is as well, it's like, are you going to have a big fan base if your team's doing so poorly, or is it that area for Miami? Are they just more into their basketball or something? You know what I mean?
It is a very strong basketball.
It's strong for basketball, yeah.
It is. So $1 billion. The population of Tasmania is 574,000 people.
Wow!
So it's going to cost every man, woman, and child in Tasmania $1,742.
That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Well, it is when you get nothing for it. What are you going to get for it?
It is a lot of money. I heard it's 1/12 of their GDP.
It just seems
like, that's a lot of money.
Like, you know, this is the problem with this country. Probably the problem with a lot of countries where the politicians are supposed to work for the people.
Yeah.
And they're not listening to the people.
Yeah. When I went to Tasmania, it was not last year, the year before, 23, I went down there. And I just got talking to a few people, and I asked them, like, do they want this football stadium and a football team? And the resounding majority was no.
No.
No, because at the time that I was there, they were closing their. So Launceston had a women's hospital for maternity.
Yeah, yep.
They were closing that hospital because of that lack of money.
Yeah.
And it was
that's hard.
just centralising it to Hobart. Now, that's probably to us, Launceston, Hobart's only down the road. It's 200 odd kilometres away. It's a small island.
To prioritise, like, you know, to say we're closing this down because of lack of funding, but then say, but hang on a second.
We're going to spend $1
and
billion.
That's why the average punter on the street down there.
But this is the same.
against it.
This is the same here. They're going to spend $274 million to
Yeah.
build a street circuit that no
Yeah.
one wants. But when was the last time they built a new public hospital? Forget the private ones.
Yeah.
When was the last time they haven't? They haven't built a new public hospital.
Well, the children's hospital, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it was still a while ago. And remember all the dramas? How many years did it take before it was even safe to open? Lead poisoning in the water, and you know, they're just prioritising things wrong, and it's just frustrating because they do work for us.
Yeah.
They are, you know, we are their bosses. But you know what? This is kind of the way the world's going, where the staff are telling the bosses what to do.
Yeah.
I wish it was like that in the mining industry. Can you imagine Twiggy having to clean the toilets on site? That'd be good to see. Or Gina. Gina.
Yeah. Anyway, well, look, on that note, we'll bring this one to an end. Thanks for coming in, Simon. Good to see you again. Thanks for coming in,
Thank
Michelle.
you.
Sorry it was a 3-week gap between episodes there, but as you could probably tell by my voice, we're still recovering from God knows what. Anyway, never mind. We're getting better.
We are. It doesn't, you know, it probably doesn't help that we're not recording this from the Hoon capital of the world. We're recording from the Arctic Circle these days.
I know, that's right.
I've got my thermals on.
I've got the heater running too, but it's not cutting the mustard tonight.
Really?
Yeah.
The heater's on.
The heater is on, yeah.
I actually thought you might have the aircon on.
Yeah, well, it's running, but it's not cutting the mustard.
You have to remember that we're only 5,000 kilometres from Antarctica.
Yeah, no, that's true. All right. On that note, have a lovely couple of weeks, and we'll see you all again in 2 weeks' time.
thank you.
All right.
See ya.
Cheers.